Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back another video day. And to the Dallas Mavericks have signed Spencer Dinwiddie, who is a former Dallas Maverick. Dinwiddie spent basically a season with the Dallas Mavericks, a separated season. He was acquired in the 21-22 season when Dallas shipped Porzingis to Washington, and he came to Dallas, played 23 games and 7 starts. In the last 23 games of the 21-22 season with Dallas. And in those 23 games, he averaged 16 points per game with 4 assists per game and 3 rebounds per game. In the playoffs, when the Dallas Mavericks, made their Western Conference Finals run, went down in 5 games to the Golden State Warriors, who won the championship that year. He played 18 games with 3 starts in that playoff run. With 28 minutes per game, he shot 41% from the floor. He shot 41% from 3, averaging 14 points per game. He averaged 4 assists per game and 2.4 rebounds per game. Now, the next season, the 22-23 season, after how good he was with Dallas in the 21-22 season, he became to join the starting lineup. He was basically their starting point guard. And he played 53 games with 53 starts, averaging 34 minutes per game, shooting 45% from the floor. He shot 40% from 3. He averaged 18 points per game. He averaged 5 assists per game. He averaged 3 rebounds per game and was good defensively. But, of course, Dallas traded for Kyrie Irving, and they sent Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and draft picks to the Nets for Markieff Morris, who's still on the Mavs, and Kyrie Irving. And now, a little bit over a year later, the Mavericks have Spencer Dinwiddie back, and the only thing that the Nets have to show for giving up Kyrie is Dorian Finney-Smith, who they are about to trade, I would think, in the next couple weeks or months, and then draft picks. So, terrible trade for Brooklyn, in my opinion. But, it is what it is. Brooklyn's made terrible trades. But they've also made some really good trades recently that they've made. So, All right. I want to get into what what we saw from Spencer Dinwiddie this past season, the 23-24 season. He played 28 games with 4 starts with the Lakers, 24 minutes per game with 7 points per game and 2.4 assists per game with the Lakers in 28 games with 4 starts. He also shot 39% from 3. With Brooklyn, he played 48 games with 31 minutes per game. He averaged 13 points per game with 6 assists per game and 3 rebounds per game. He had a solid year. He finished this year with 11 points per game and shot good from 3. This season he shot from 3. He shot 34%. He's a career three-point shooter, 33%. But mainly recently he's been a great three-point shooter. In the 2021-22 season, shot 34%. 2022-23 season, shot 37%. 2023-24 season, shot 34%. But with Dallas, he shot amazing from 3. He shot 41% with Dallas. With Dallas, he was completely different, absolutely insane from 3 with Dallas. Now, I want to go over what this Dallas Mavericks roster looks like because I'm really impressed with what they've done with this roster. It's not just Klay Thompson. This whole roster has improved a bunch. Let's look at their subtractions and their additions. They have lost Tim Hardaway Jr., Derek Jones Jr., and Josh Green. Those are some good guys. Those are some good guys to lose. Josh Green did great for Dallas. Same thing goes for Tim Hardaway Jr. and Derek Jones Jr. Derek Jones Jr. is a great 3-and-D guy for Dallas. Tim Hardaway Jr. was a great shooter. Josh Green was a great shooter and defender. Those are 3 guys that are great guys that I think Dallas will miss. But at the same time, they've made some really good additions. Of course, we know the Klay Thompson addition, which is a great signing. Klay Thompson brings in great shooting and good spacing for the floor. That's a great addition. Obviously, I think for what the other pieces that they've lost, like Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green, and Derek Jones Jr., Klay Thompson doesn't really make those losses better, but it's what else they have brought into their organization this offseason. They traded for Quentin Grimes, a guy I really like. This is another good three-point shooter. He's a guy who's not just a good three-point shooter, but he's a good defender. Now, another player that they brought in was Najee Marshall. Najee Marshall, another good three-point shooter, a very, very good defender, very aggressive player as well. That's another good addition. And then, of course, as we know, Spencer Dinwiddie, who we're talking about right now, another good three-point shooter, and not just a good three-point shooter, but he's a good facilitator and good scorer and very solid defender. So mainly most of their free agency additions, or mainly most of their offseason additions, have been improving their defense and their three-point shooting. Look, all four of the guys they brought in this offseason, Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson, Quentin Grimes, and Najee Marshall, all four of those guys improved their three-point shooting. Only three of those guys improved their defense. The one guy that doesn't is Klay Thompson. But at the same time, they've improved their defense, and in my opinion, they have improved their three-point shooting because they lose Josh Green and Tim Hardaway Jr., who are great three-point shooters, and they also lose Derrick Jones Jr., who's an okay three-point shooter, but they add in Quentin Grimes, who's a very good three-point shooter, Klay Thompson, who's one of the best three-point shooters of all time, Najee Marshall, who just had a great three-point shooting season, and also Spencer Dinwiddie, who shot 41% with the Dallas Mavericks and is a good three-point shooter. So they've done a great job with improving their three-point shooting, and I don't know if you could say that their defense has improved. I think you could say their defense has improved because, yes, they lose a good defender, Derrick Jones Jr., a great defender, and Josh Green. Tim Hardaway Jr. is a terrible defender, but Najee Marshall is a great defender. I love his addition. Quentin Grimes is a good defender for a guard, and then same thing goes for Dinwiddie. So I think they've improved their defense. I think they've improved their three-point shooting. I like the way this Mavericks team looks. They're also going to have a full season now with Daniel Gafford and P.J. Washington. Look, those guys are, in my opinion, those guys are additions as well for the first half of the season. Sure are Daniel Gafford and P.J. Washington two guys that were a part of the Mavericks team for the second half of the year after the trade deadline and the postseason and the NBA Finals. But Daniel Gafford and P.J. Washington are two guys that Dallas did not have to start off the season. So you'd think maybe Dallas might be a better team to start off the year now that they have those two guys for the first half of the year from the start of the season, October to February, because they didn't have those two guys from October to February. Neither one of those guys were on the roster. So those guys are essentially an addition from October to February because they've never had those two guys in this time of the year from October to start off the year in February to February where the trade deadline happens. Let me know your thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks signing Spencer Dinwiddie and improving their roster. That's the video. If you guys enjoyed, and peace out.